drafted in 2003, right around the time that I started watching basketball. But no, I still think Michael Jordan is the greatest basketball player of all time, simply because that quote is right. He had an on-off switch that he just never turned off. And in the documentary, they were saying, he had a bad game shooting. He only had 19 points. He only had 24 points. That's a bad game shooting, is him having 19 points. So, that being said, we're going to go to our first break. And when we come back, we will continue talking about the ESPN documentary, The Last Dance. You are listening to Dan D'Antoni Sports. And we are back. Thank you for continuing to listen to Dan D'Antoni Sports. The first part of the show, we talked about The Last Dance. Just briefly went over what it is, what we thought about it, what the point was. Now we're going to get into some other parts not involving Michael Jordan. Big question I have is Scottie Pippen. All right, Scottie Pippen was the clear number 2 to Michael Jordan. The guy was an incredible basketball player. Went to, I believe, Southwest Oklahoma State is where he went to college. A school that no one's ever heard of. All right. Now, how good was Scottie Pippen? Did Michael just unlock his potential? Did Jordan make him better? Would he have gotten to the point he was at without Jordan eventually? Or how important was Michael Jordan to Scottie Pippen's development?
I guess you could question it for sure. I don't see how you could personally make him better.
Well, because if all the attention is taken off of him, he's open. If you have to double Jordan, someone's got to be open. That creates a 4-on-3. Is he the beneficiary of having played with Michael Jordan because the focus was taken more off of him and put onto Jordan? Or if Jordan was never on the Bulls, but Pippen was, would he and Horace Grant have had that same relationship and he's still been as good? Or was Michael Jordan the catalyst that really catapulted Scottie Pippen into superstardom?
Probably, I mean, yes, I can't think else. I would say that Michael, thanks for coming in shop here, Michael.
Okay, we are still experiencing some difficulties with some microphones. So I'm going to put my 2 cents in here. I think that Scottie Pippen had the potential in him. And I think that, not that he wasn't a good player, but I feel like he needed Jordan. He needed Jordan to help speed his development. I feel like he needed Jordan to take all the attention off of him at first and truly develop into a great basketball player. But most importantly, I think he needed Jordan to push him to be the best that he could be. That's what Jordan did. If you watched the documentary, Jordan talked all sorts of shit. He put people in their place. He held the same expectations for you as he did for himself. And it was echoed multiple times throughout the documentary that Michael Jordan never asked anyone to do what he himself wasn't willing to do. And I think that's important. It shows that his expectations weren't unreal, that all he was asking for from his team was to give the best effort that they possibly could, and you saw the results when they were pushed to their absolute limit, conditioning, mentality. He said that he was giving a ton of shit to Steve Kerr, and Steve Kerr stepped up to him, and they got into a fight. All right. And Jordan got removed from practice, and he called Steve Kerr, talked to him. They worked it out, said that he loves the passion. He's happy that someone stood up to him. And he said that moment is when he knew that Steve Kerr deserved his respect, and that was the moment that he knew that Steve Kerr had the potential to be great, and he unlocked something that day in him. Kerr unlocked something within himself to make him more than just a bit of a role player, but an important part in a championship team. Now, is Scottie Pippen the same way? That's what I want to know. I know my opinion is that Pippen had that potential. Pippen would always have the ability to be great. Would that have happened as soon as it did? Or would that have happened? Would that potential have been reached at all if not for Michael Jordan pushing him?
He definitely had a huge advantage having Jordan on the team to draw attention away. But I mean, you gotta wonder because you see that in a lot of different sports. You see receivers in football; they get on a good team, or you can more or less build a system around the quarterback, and they get dealt somewhere else, and they're not as good.
Exactly.
So,
Exactly.
But to also say, the potential, I mean, you got to want it yourself. So, I mean, I think you can probably make the argument more of, Scottie Pippen strived to be good, just having that set up with Jordan made him flourish more,
Right.
We'll never know it. I don't, remember necessarily, but I remember when Pippen did go to Houston for a while and was more or less the leader of the team, but I don't know. I can't recall if he was as good. I think by then he was kind of past his prime.
I mean, he did spend 9 years with the Bulls. I think 87 to 11 years, I guess. Scottie Pippen was with the Bulls? I don't know. I'm gonna have to look that up because I think my timing is wrong. But you're right. I mean, you know that old adage: you can lead a horse to water, but you can't make them drink. Obviously, Michael, in my scenario, led Scotty to water, and Scotty drank. But let's see. He played with the Chicago Bulls. Oh, just a second. All right. So Pippen was with the Bulls from 87 to 98. So that's 12 seasons. And then he went back in 2003 to 2004. So he played for 13 years with the Bulls in 2 stints. And I was wrong. He went to Central Arkansas. So it must have been Rodman who went to the Southwest Oklahoma University or whatever it was. Now, Pippen, you're right. He did leave the Bulls, went to... actually, we can even talk about when Pippen had the year and a half without Jordan. He was still averaging, 22 points per game, over 8 rebounds, over 5 assists, almost 3 steals, and almost a block a game. He finished third in MVP voting in 1993. So he did play really well without Jordan. But would his career have started without Michael Jordan? Dan O'Shea, are you there?
Yeah. Am I coming in any better now?
Much better.
All right, good. I definitely think, your team can make you better or worse. And, having Jordan on your team, I think is going to tend to make most guys better. It's going to, you learn from your teammates. Your teammates push you. And, he was very honest about, not being the nice guy. He was, he would get on guys if he didn't think they were doing everything they could to get better. And I think certain people respond well to that. I think Pippen responded to that, and I think definitely it was like a springboard for him. He was able to get very good faster than someone who might have been the entire focal point of a different team's defensive strategy. And Pippen was always a passer, and who better to pass to than MJ, and or leave you wide open than when people are double teaming him. So, but I do definitely think that Pippen always had the potential to be that good, and probably still would have gotten there eventually. But I just think he reached that level quicker.
Right. So it sounds like you and I really, you and I agree on that. I think Scottie Pippen has a legitimate argument to the claim that he is. How do I want to put this? That he's one of the greatest small forwards of all time. He is one of the best of all time. And he had a very long career from 1987 to 2004. It's 18 years. What a career. And on top of his numerous championships, 6-time NBA champion, 7-time All-Star, All-Star Game MVP in 94. He was an Olympic gold medalist twice in 92 and 96. Now, what a career, all right? That is a great career. But more important, I think, then all of those accolades